Welcome back. Well, our special guest on Left, Right and Centre tonight is author Devdutt Pattanaik, who's out with his new book, My HANUMAN CHALISA. Devdutt Pattanaik, of course, is very well known for writing a series of books on Indian mythology and actually simplifying it and trying to make us understand why it's relevant in modern India and the modern world. Mr. Pattanaik, so great to have you in the studio. And what I particularly found interesting, the first thing that struck me about your new book is the dedication, because it's dedicated to the trolls without and within. Why? Which trolls are you talking about?
You know, all the people who are negative in our lives, they're basically trolls, right? So even, you know, the internet was created, this new creature emerged in our life called trolls. But in mythology, trolls have been there for thousands of years. In all mythologies, Germanic mythologies really, the trolls come. And we know trolls from Harry Potter. But in Indian mythology, they are like the Bhutaganas. You know, Shivji ke jo Bhutgan hote hain, very weird people whom nobody likes. But Shivji says, theek hai, mere saath reh jao. And I think when I encountered trolls on the internet, I said, itni negativity kahan se aa rahi hai? Where is this negativity coming from? And I said, how do I turn the negative into the positive? And that's what led me to Hanuman Chalisa.
So what do you think that perhaps this could inspire them to get some peace of mind?
I see, you know, there's a troll inside all of us, right? There is a negative energy within us which wants to come out. We get angry, we get upset, we shout at people.
But not everybody is inherently negative. I mean, some of the people you see on Twitter, on the internet are just always negative and vicious.
I'm sure, you know, when they're out of the internet, they must be lovely human beings. And for all you know, the most lovely human beings we meet in real life are secretly Twitter. It's a secret identity. We don't know that, but I think negativity ko nikale kaise? So Hanuman Chalisa negativity nikalti hai outside and inside. So even my negativity, when I get bitter, angry, frustrated, jo klesh aata hai, so I wanted to go out, and I want others also to remove their negativity, but it'll never go out completely. So
but I think it's fantastic, and I hope that all the trolls out there who love to write to us and to write to me are reading this and do get some peace of mind. But let me ask you, before I get into the Hanuman Chalisa, why did you even start, you know, writing on mythology? I mean, what was it that drew you to this? Was it that you felt that people were sort of disconnected from it? They didn't really understand its relevance in their lives, in their day-to-day lives? What was it?
See, I used to read a lot of mythology because it was my hobby. And then I realized that most people have incomplete information, inadequate information. There's a lot of scholarly work going on, and that is not accessible to the common people. So originally I used to just write so that people know the stories they've never heard of. Over time I realized even the scholars are disconnected from the subject in many ways. They're so expert driven, they know only one thing, they don't know the other. So a Ramayana scholar won't know the Mahabharata, the Mahabharata scholar will not know, Sanskrit scholars won't know regional narratives. So I realized I was reading a little bit of everything and I was synthesizing a lot of information in my head. So what do I do with this knowledge? So I said I'll share it with people, and then gradually one thing led to another and books happened. And I saw that people loved it because there's great hunger in our country for this information, this knowledge. And the more I gave, the more people wanted. And the simpler I made it. And also over time I realized how sophisticated some of these ideas were. You know, they could only be explained because when you understand structuralism, post-structuralism, you understood that most people are stuck in 19th century understanding. Just less information. Where will you study mythology in India? If you want to study Ramayana in India, where do you go? There is no university that teaches you that. There is no university which teaches you these legends which really bind our country. These stories, these myths, these ideas, there is nothing, nowhere, there is no place where you can learn. And
so what is the relevance though that you think that mythology has for Indians in particular? I mean, because it obviously is, as you said, something that binds people together. It is something that for many people does play a big role in their day-to-day lives. It's
a human thing. It has nothing to do with Indians. All human beings, the moment you become human, you need a myth. Because life has no inherent meaning. You need to create meaning. And for meaning, right from the most primitive man, you start creating stories, symbols and rituals. What is the purpose of life? What is the value of life? What happens after death? Why do you have funeral rituals? Why do Egyptians build tombs? Why do Americans have these caskets in which they bury the dead? Why don't you just throw a dead body in the garbage? Because really it's garbage when you die, scientifically speaking. It can be just thrown into the garbage and used for industrial purposes. But we take care of the dead body around the world, right? That means everybody lives in myth. We give value to a flesh too much. This comes from myth. So, and there are different kinds of myth. There are myths which believe in one god. There are myths that believe in many gods. And there are myths that believe in no god. So capitalism, communism, atheism, secularism are mythologies of no god. Then there is mythology of one god, Christianity, Islam, Judaism. some forms of Hinduism believe only one God, and then there is many gods. Hinduism comes in the realm of many gods. Buddhism goes in the mythology of no God. There is no God in Buddhism. So these are the three big baskets of mythology, and human beings will belong to one of the three baskets and interchange between them and move between them all the time.
But there's also an overlap between mythology and history and our understanding of both, isn't it? And how do you sort of differentiate between the two?
See, history, for example, will focus on facts. If I don't have the fact, I can't say anything, right? Mythology doesn't rely on facts as much as ideas. It's the realm of belief. It's highly subjective. Mythology is only subjective. There is nothing objective in mythology. It's indifferent to rationality. So gods will come and go, they'll disappear. History is limited by facts. So if there is no fact, it is not historical. And therefore, it's a very different subject.
But for many, what we see or what you see as mythology is fact or is history.
See, for every person who is who believes in a myth, it's a fact.
Yeah.
It is the nature of mythology. The insider will say it is history, the outsider will say it is fiction. So insider outsider की story होती है. So God, is it historical figure? Did God create the world in 5000 BC according to some Christians? Not really true, right? Scientifically we know that there is something. So in America they will say evolution is rubbish, because in their mythology there is something called intelligent design and creation. So everywhere in the world you will have people. When the British ruled India, they had their own myth, right? They genuinely believed that the Queen ruled the world.
But when you started, writing about mythology, is there anything that jumped out at you that surprised even you, even though you had read so much and for so many years?
You know what hit me strongly, and remember I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for a very long time. The biggest discovery for me is what we call modernity is actually Western mythology. This notion of management by objective, this whole idea that one day the world will be a better place, it is Western, it's a fairy tale, like happily ever after.
Right.
Ek din sab problem solve ho jayenge. That is fairy tale, but we genuinely believe it, and we have revolutions because of it. So every revolutionary is a person who believes in fairy tales. And for me that was the most amusing thing, that arey baap re, to bacche hain, because dunya aisa, the world is not like that. You have there's good and bad, and there's fluidity and there's motion. And what surprised me is the wisdom and the maturity of Indian mythologies, which says there is no such thing as a happy ending. There is only commas and commas and commas. There's no full stop. World comes and goes. And I realized that Indians were not aware of how our stories were told. We were trying to turn Ramayana and Mahabharata into happy endings. There is no happy or unhappy endings in Ramayana and Mahabharata. They're just biographies.
Which is what brings me to my next question, which is that what do you think we can learn from our own mythology? What does it teach us about ourselves and the way we live today?
You know that kings come and go, and every king when he comes thinks he'll never go, and every king who is gone doesn't believe he'll ever come. We believe in rebirth. No? It's cyclical. तो कुछ आएगा कुछ जाएगा कुछ आएगा कुछ जाएगा. This is in Jainism, it's called avasarpani utasarpani, boom and bust like the stock market. It will never end. Things will never end. Wars will come and go. Peace will come and go. Prosperity will come and go. So, ये तो सनातन है. It will come and go. And therefore, when good things happen, we get so excited and think it will last forever. It won't. And when bad times come, we think, oh my God, it's going to last forever. No, it won't. 2,500 years ago, Buddha said it. We still don't believe in.
So there's obviously a lot of wisdom and maturity from, as you said, from our own mythology, which we perhaps don't even realize. Well, Devdutt Pattanaik, it was great to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming in. And My HANUMAN CHALISA, that's the name of the latest version of the book. And once again, dedicated to all the trolls out there. Happy reading. Goodbye.